Guys, today we're going to be flying through what a pitch and pretty much like what a demo should look like if you own a media company. This isn't even specific to media companies, guys. So, like if you're in sales and you're trying to develop your own pitch, this is the best sales process that you can possibly go by. The purpose of putting together a sales process like this is not only like eliminate all of the objections before the close. So anyone that's like, I need to think about it. Right now is not the best time. I need to talk to my wife, or I need to talk to another decision maker. Any sort of objection that you guys get inside of your sales calls, the purpose of putting together a demo like this is to completely eliminate those objections so people are already pre-framed in that call. And when you're like you in the beginning of the call, we literally dismantle the objection itself so that at the end of the call, they can't even use that as an excuse. So say for instance, you and your best friend were going to go to, let's say, a bar. Okay. And you knew that your best friend hates going to a bar because he's nervous, right? So rather than just asking your best friend, hey, let's go to a bar, and knowing that they're going to say no because they're nervous, you would start off the conversation going, dude, I can't believe how not nervous you've been in public situations. Have you been feeling better about it recently? So you have a why have you been feeling better about it? Oh, so you feel more confident. So do you feel like, in the future you would be able to go somewhere and not be nervous? Then you could create the reality and pre-frame them for them to have already talked 12 minutes straight with you about how they can go into social situations and they're confident with themselves and they can actually do those things. So then 20 minutes later, you can go, awesome, dude. So what I was actually thinking is, if you're not opposed to it, we could actually go to a bar. Okay, so that is how you pre-frame and eliminate objections. It's a lot different inside of a sales call. Obviously, I'm using like a funny example, but let's fly through what this looks like. And the purpose of this, guys, is to like actually structure your sales calls so you have a dialed-in demo, you have really cool rapport, you have great frame about the call, you have information gathering, so you have actual information that you can not use against them, but help guide them in the correct path forward. So the purpose of being a salesperson is you truly want to be an advisor. So you want to walk your prospects down the most, you want to walk your prospects down the most efficient decision making process possible, so that you're simultaneously letting them know aware what the smartest and most efficient best decision is best for them. You are literally just asking the right questions to guide them there. And one thing that you guys should remember inside of a sales call is no one will ever listen to you. They will only listen to themselves. That's why this entire demo is 100% question frameworked. So rather than me telling someone, you need to do more or you need to do more outreach to get the results that you want, that's the result. So we can't start at the result. I have to ask them, well, why haven't you been getting the results that you want? What do you feel like's been going on in your business that's stopping you from getting the results that you want? And then lead them to the most logical decision-making process possible, that the reason why they are not getting the results that they want is because they're not doing enough outreach. And that is, at the end of the day, the purpose of doing a proper discovery. So this call is going to be going through the sales process, what the sales process looks like for not only every single business, but specifically media businesses. What the sales call will look like, how to build up rapport, what frame should look like, information gathering. So frame is how to structure a conversation. Information gathering is reframing your prospect, like figuring out objectively what their objection will be. So like, it's difficult to explain. A lot of people, quantify things emotionally. We're like, I don't feel about it. I don't know how to feel about it. I have to think about it. I have to go here. Their explanations for things are emotional. We have to objectify it. We have to bring it down into concrete tangibility, or else they can't overcome it. So that's the purpose of information gathering. Transition phases is how to transition from your information gathering to an actual pitch. Your pitch is how to structure your pitch so people understand it. Again, guys, the most difficult part about pitching in a sales call is people just don't understand what you're saying and they don't retain it. So you're not putting it in the most efficient, you're not using like word economy when you're communicating. Biggest part of the pitch matrix is your copy. So we always want to say problem link or benefit link. So like, your business is a problem because of problem, which means that you're going to have problems, which in effect is a problem. And our solution is a solution not only because of our solution, because of the solution of the solution. So we problem link and we benefit link, and that puts emotional weight and tangibility towards people's decision-making processes. Limiting the undercovered objection before we ask for the close, and then next steps and support so you can actually ask for the close. This is one thing that drove me crazy when I first started out going through pitches, is I didn't know how to ask for the close. Like, I really didn't. It was so uncomfortable because I got through everything and I knew they were on board. And my one line was, are you ready for some homework? Are you ready to get started? Are you ready to come on board? Something like that. It's a little clunky. So you need a way for them to buy in and give you permission. So literally asking for permission for the close so that they're like, yeah, this is something I want to do. So what we do is we positivity link 3 yeses together. So this is just an example. This isn't actually what you would do, but do you feel like this is exactly what you need to get you there? Okay, why? And then ask about them personally. So yeah, of course, like the coaching works, or the program works, but or like my media works, but why would you do it? Like personally, why would you go through this process? And then they're telling you why they would do it. Then you go, awesome. Well, then what do you think you should do? You can't do those jumps right away, but I'm just showing you the results of it. Okay, cool. So let's get right into it, guys. Sales process. The first thing is you're going to get a lead from your lead form. So you're running either outreach through your email, through text, through social media, through whatever, but you get a lead that's opting in. Then once you have a lead that opts in, you need your text set up to go to your CRM. And a lead is nothing. A lead is literally nothing until you learn the skill sets of how to communicate with them to uncover problems so that they do want to get on a sales call with you. And I hate the word sales. You never, ever, ever want to be a salesperson. You only want to be a consultative advisor. I know that sounds a little buzzwordy, but you need to be coming from the place of how do I truly help this person? And at the end of the day, when you frame your entire conversation like that, truly out of help and trust and authority, then they're going to be thanking you for helping them. So you're going to know when you get really good at sales that not only is someone paying you thousands of dollars to work with your media company, but they're actually thanking you because you're showing them how to actually think about these things. A lot of people, sit in the same position ever. Like they never actually do social media. They never actually do ads. They never actually put together a great commercial and get people to know who they are. But there's things behind that. Like, why haven't you done that? I mean, you show them the light behind it and truly in a respectful way, tell them, hey, you've been lazy. You really haven't, bought into yourself or your belief or bought into your XYZ enough for you to actually go public and be known with your business and XYZ. So like the reason why I say all that, guys, is like you never want to be a salesperson. You want to simultaneously show them why you are the right person to take them there and why your process is the best. You want to be put them through a consult. So the first part of like your sales pitch, guys, is something called rapport. This is the easiest one to explain. So you want to like introduce normalcy. So you want to be like a normal person, guys. You meet someone, in-person sales are great because you can pull tricks like grab us a cup of coffee, or could I have a cup of coffee, or could I go to your bathroom? You want to be a human being around them. You want to make jokes. Over the phone sales or over the computer sales, if you're doing a demo over the computer, it's very important to show your palms of your hands and to sit up like this. So there's 2 parts of it. You need authority stances. So you need to sit up like this. This is an authority stance with your chin up. People look at authority by the distance between your ear and your shoulder. So as you can tell here, if I'm sitting here and talking, I don't look too like I'm in control of much. But if I position myself on a call like this and I'm talking in the same exact tonality, then I hold authority inside of the conversation. This is the same thing in person and over the computer. Show your palms and, of course, shake people's hands in person, but show your palms over the computer. Well, those are just like little psychological things that you can do to people to get them to open up, because the last thing you want to do is have sales resistance. We want to decrease the sales resistance. So introduce normalcy. Identify what kind of person you're talking to. I obviously like to get along, like I get along with bros. Right? There's no secret there. So I say, hey, what's up, dude? Did you watch the Bills game, right? Did you do XYZ? Do you play golf? Do you do those things? And I can have rapport that way. Code switching is an odd way to put it, but you need to be able to have some sort of like normal rapport. They want to know that you're a normal person. At the end of the day, if they choose to decide to work with someone because not only the people, because of the process, but mostly the relationships associated with it. So just prove that you're a normal person. Top of that, you want to eliminate sales resistance, okay? So eliminating sales resistance means framing questions like this. Well, I don't really, I don't know if we might even actually be the right fit for each other. The first part of our call is really for me to understand where you're at right now and where you want to go, so we can kind of figure out what that gap looks like together, and figure out if what we do have over here will even help you. From there, you're framing the conversation like, oh, they're only going to help me if they can help me, which is true. You can't help someone if you can't help someone. So you need to be able to frame your conversations like that. It eliminates sales resistance. This is because of your niches, guys. If you're selling to real estate agents, you're selling to loan offices, you're selling to, let's say, home service companies, they're constantly used to getting reached out to and sold to. So if you sound like everyone else, you're going to associate you with who? With everyone else, right? So you don't want to sound like a salesperson. You want to sound like almost as if you're having a conversation with your best friend, trying to figure out what is correct. And obviously, you're going to be a little bit more nuanced in these conversations because this is what you do for a living. You better be better at it than them. Frame. Frame is how you conduct the structure of a conversation. So you set the scene. My favorite one to do is I like to see where you're at right now. And then let's talk about where you want to get in the future, so we could look at what that gap looks like together and figure out if what we have over here is a good fit. If it is a good fit, then we could talk about possible next steps. And if it is not a good fit, we have a ton of great referrals in the industry. So I would love to pass you on to those people. Okay. Now, by doing that, using the frame, you get a lens on how they view not only the world, but your conversation. So a lot of people are very, hit or miss and are very tight-minded, and they just want to get right to the pitch. This frame will open them up and let them be aware of the information gathering phase. I particularly get very deep on information gathering, okay? So I need to prep people for it. So what I do to prep people for it is, hey, by the way, the first part of my conversation is truly for me to figure out where you're at right now so we can figure out where to go, because everything that we do for our clients is super custom. Now someone's going to be like, oh, all the questions that I am about to get are normal. This is what he does all of the time, and it's required in order for me to get to the outcome that I want, okay? Then set up consultation and understand their worldview. That's super important. By asking questions, you cannot think like you. You have to think like them. And then you have to use the piece of your brain that's as most logical as it could possibly be to reframe them on the reality that is most productive for them. So if someone has always pushed off trying to get better in the way that you help with, you have to talk about it right here. So if you don't talk about it right here, it's going to come out by the time you ask them for money. So what I mean by that is, at this point, I would usually ask someone, well, what are some of the things that you have tried in the past? Have they worked? No. Okay, they have not worked. Well, what do you feel like has been stopping you from finding the thing that does work? By the way that they answer this, you can tell what their objection will be. So we get to handle the objection up here rather than all the way down here. So now by the time that you ask for money, they're bought in and they want to work with you because you've showed them the right way to think about the world. Now, we can't change someone's world in an hour-long phone call, but we can shine sincere truth on the best decision-making process possible for them to make the right step forward, for them to get the life that they want and the results that they want. So in order to eliminate all objections, we talk about these 6 beliefs. These are not my beliefs. These are these 6. There's actually 7, human beliefs that are required from a human in order to actually make change or make a decision. And these are Tony Robbins. This is all from Tony Robbins. I did not make this. This is certainly one of the most genius things I've ever seen about human behavior. So these 6 things, the biggest things that I've personally seen that stops someone from moving forward. And it's money, time, doubt in themselves or doubt in the process, desire to get their support, or past experiences. Now, I communicate about all of these. And I go, well, why is right now a time that you're looking to do this? Why wasn't this on your radar 6 months ago? Why not 6 months in the future? Why is it on your radar right now? Then they're telling me why they want to do this right now. Desire, creating a gap. So where are you at right now versus where you want to be? Creating a gap between what those two places look like. And when you're having a conversation with someone, it doesn't even matter what it is. It could be talking about, eating for lunch, right? If you're starving and you're talking to your buddy about eating lunch, and you guys are having a conversation about how hungry you are right now and how amazing the steak dinner is going to be in 3 hours, you're going to feel so much more starving in the moment than as if you were to just go for a walk and listen to Joe Rogan, right? So that's the purpose of doing that, is creating a gap between where they are and where they want to be. On top of that, we want to reframe them. So anytime someone says anything funny, right? So anything out of pocket, anything that would stop them from joining, your business, you want to reframe them. And examples of this can look like, well, right now is not the right time. Right now is not the right time for me to really go all in on social media. You need to handle that right here, because if you don't, it's going to blow up at the end. Then results-based frameworks, guys, we want them to be thinking about making decisions based off of the person that they want to be, not the person that they are, okay? Because then at the end of the call, the most powerful thing I've ever heard in my life when it comes to sales and understanding, this world, is the most powerful thing you could say is, well, you told me. Okay, well, you told me in the beginning of the call, right now was the best time. So what has sort of changed? Do you feel like this process isn't really right for you? Or help me understand. So you told me is the most powerful thing you can say, because they told you. You're not doing anything other than holding them accountable, therefore being a consultative advisor, not a salesperson. Then you want to create a gap between where they are, where they want to be, reinstate that they are problem or solution aware. So once this problem comes out, you have to make it very clear. Oh, so the only thing that's been stopping you is learning the skill set of how to run ads to get more leads? Okay, well, you do know that that's a very pragmatic skill that you can put together, right? Okay. And you feel like the only thing holding you back from doing that would be the support on how to actually do it properly so you don't waste time and money? Okay, totally makes sense. Then that's the close. So if you go through that process right here, then by the time that they get to the close, that's what they would have said if you didn't address it, right? So you need to be addressing these things. And again, as I said here, I put it in all caps, but this is where you're going to be discovering the actual objections. So you're going to reframe them after you discover the objections. And after you discover, you can reframe them by in real time, telling them exactly what needs to happen in their thought processes to make a step forward. Again, guys, a salesperson is pretty much just a motivator, right? You're a logical motivator. So based off of all the things that have happened in the past, the future needs to look different in order to get to your goals. So something has to change. And when you're framing conversations like that and putting their best interest in place, you're motivating them for change. That's why generating urgency and motivation is super big. Okay, guys, and this is the first part of this video series that I'm going to be creating. I hope this was helpful. The first 8 minutes was a huge overview of everything. And these are one of my first videos that I'm actually putting out. So I hope you guys like it. I'm not too good at this either. I'm sort of just going off of memory and experience. These other three parts of it, which is going to be your transition into the pitch, into the close, and then pacing and handling objections, will be my next video that I put out. Let me know if you guys like this, if there's any parts of it that weren't as good, but I hope this is helpful. And if you're doing your sales in person, this is amazing because you actually have a sincere way to connect with people. Over the computer is a little bit more difficult and detached. You're not allowed to play the personal tricks that you can play. So when I was doing sales in person for our media company, I would pull a lot of tricks, all the way from going to a brokerage, a whole real estate brokerage. I would pull donuts and coffee tricks. I would pull anything out of the hat that I could to get people on our side to know that we're real. So not to win them over and make money, but for them to know that I'm a real person, so that they would be more open to hearing what I have to say, to decrease sales resistance. So I hope that helps, guys, and keep letting it rip.